I am fortunate to have three different Seamaster models in front of the camera today. Each of them carry the blue dial, blue bezel, OEM stainless steel bracelet option, and I think they are very comparable. Now, this does not represent the entirety of Omega's diver catalog. We are missing the ProPlof, and we are missing the new Ultra Deep, but those two, they're very serious dive watches. I think they are more of an acquired taste. I really like them myself, but I don't think they're being cross-shopped as much as these three do. These three are all similarly sized, similarly priced, and similarly spec'd. One of them, carries more specs than the others, but again, very comparable, and I'd like to rank them. Perhaps if you're watching this video, you are looking into getting a Seamaster model, but you're not quite sure which one you should go with. Do you go with the most popular? Do you go with the most retro-inspired? Do you go with the upgraded Planet Ocean with the deeper water resistance and whatnot? I'll share all my thoughts here in this video. And let's start left to right. So we'll start with the Seamaster 300. This one comes in at a retail price of $6,700, 41 millimeters in case diameter as I measure it. And this one is the most comfortable of the three. And I think that comes down in large measure to the case and bracelet. The case does not have the lyre lugs. It's a very tapering linear case, and that goes into a dramatic taper on this bracelet. This has the smallest clasp of the three, but fortunately, we do still have the quick adjust system hidden on the underside of that clasp. I like the way this sits on my wrist. It's just a very comfortable, very understated fit that does carry an 8912 Meta certified movement, that does have the time zone feature. We have a slightly higher power reserve when you compare it to the other two calibers found here on the table. And I love the fact that this is paying a very appropriate homage to the original diver design from Omega that debuted back in 1957. So if you look at this, you can see the design cues, you can see the old font, the hand design, even going down to the lollipop seconds hand. So I really like that myself. Back in 1957, the Seamaster name had been around for nearly a decade, but this was really when I think it got its Seamaster badge, I guess you could say, when it was a true dive watch. And so I like that history myself. Now, when it comes to the negative elements of this one compared to the others, this does not have as nice of an application of anti-reflective treatment on this sapphire crystal. In fact, I'm not sure that it carries any ARC. The other two have excellent dual-applied anti-reflective coatings, and that makes a big difference. And you notice that here with this Seamaster 300. The biggest gripe I have, I think, will be shared by a majority of you watching this video, and that is the fact that we have the aged look, the warm tone look of old radium superluminova. Now, I get why brands do it. They want to strengthen the vintage aspect of the watch, and that's probably why Omega chose not to do great anti-reflective treatment on this particular application. But it does suffer, I think. I think it's not quite as legible as the other two, and that makes a difference. I do, however, really love the full loomed bezel, and that's a bit surprising because you look at this and it's hardened aluminum. You don't expect it to be loomed, but it's loomed. Now let's go to the most affordable here in the center. This one is the Seamaster Professional 300. This one comes in $900 less at retail than both the 300 and the Seamaster Planet Ocean. This one has also the most in terms of color options and size options and strap options. We have a lot of consumer choice with this platform, and I really like how this is paying a modern homage to the modern design that came out back in 1993. And that, of course, is the Brosnan Bond Seamaster with the wave dial. That design really brought Omega out of their dark days that they experienced back in the 1970s and 1980s and early 1990s. And it really dialed in the proper design that most of us think of when we think of an Omega Seamaster. So we have the ceramic wave here, laser engraved into the dial. We have high contrast indexing in your ceramic bezel insert that carries the scalloped edging for the grip. And unfortunately, this one has the worst bezel action out of the three and also the most difficult grip when you compare it to the coin edging and the pronounced coin edging of both the 300 and the Planet Ocean. The other thing with this is some collectors don't like the 90s design of the bracelet and the fact that it does not taper, so it can become a little bit cumbersome at times to wear for some collectors. But again, there is the most choice. It is a great design. It does have a great 8800 coaxial movement that is meta certified, so there is a lot in the favor of this one. And I think chief of which is probably the price. Almost $1,000 less at retail than the other two. That can be a difference maker in the budget of some watch collectors. Now let's talk about the Planet Ocean. This one comes in at a retail price of $6,700. It is the largest of the three, and it is a serious dive watch. It has double the water resistance of both the 300 and the Pro 300. And this one, I don't know, I really like how since 2005, this one was paying homage to arguably Omega's most beloved Seamaster model that came out in the 1960s. You can see the same inspiration, the hour hands, the 12, the 6, and the 9 Arabic markers, the rectangular markers. I think this one, with the lyre lugs, with the overall look, strikes a perfect blend of vintage, but again, very modern, with its sleek contemporary shine of the ceramic bezel insert, the flat ceramic dial. And I will say, handling all three, the Planet Ocean feels the most premium out of the watches represented here on the table. It has the best bezel action. It has, I would say, negligibly better finish in terms of the delineation between polish work and brush work. I think the lume, they're all really good, but I give the edge for longevity with the Planet Ocean, just in terms of deep fill and surface area for that bitone lume. So yes, it's the same price as the 300, and I do think it's worth the premium over the Professional. So if I had to spend my own money, I think the Planet Ocean deserves my money the most, and then I would rank the Seamaster Professional 300 meter next. I think you can't beat that value represented here at about $5,000. And then rounding out the top three, I think lastly would be the Seamaster 300. And I would rank the 300 higher if it did have the good ARC and if it did have, the white tone lume and natural light that made it more legible and more functional. So if it had those changes, I kind of wonder if I would enjoy that one the most out of the three. I do enjoy all three. I do think each watch would be a worthy addition to any watch collection. But if I'm ranking them, I go Planet Ocean, and then I go Pro, and then I go 300. So I hope you found this video helpful, informative, enjoyable. Let me know if you have any specific questions. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch today. And if you're shopping for any Omega, I will leave relevant links in the description of the video to recommended authorized dealers and people you can contact at that AD to get you pricing and quotes and all of that fun stuff. So thanks again. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.